Hello everybody, thanks for coming into science class today. I wanted to let you know that Mr. Kulitz will be working with you and keeping you on task with 2 to 3 rather easy assignments that should be and can be completed. I'm going to start off first with the first item that's on the screen. This is a piece of paper that you should collect on your way in. It is entitled in the upper right hand corner as Quiz Study Guide. Hopefully you can find it. You will note that this study guide looks very similar to the last quiz that you took. It's in fact almost the exact same thing. I would point out that while using this would be a great place to study, there are possibilities of some of these questions changing to the alternate thing. So instead of me asking about an object that's good at allowing electrons to flow, I might ask about an object that's not good at allowing electrons to flow, aka an insulator. So just be mindful of that. If you kind of scroll down the quiz here, I might actually change this to be a parallel circuit instead of a series. I'm not really sure quite yet. You just need to be a little bit sharp on your game there. Definitely going to change my numbers here and what I'm asking, so you need to be mindful of your formulas. I probably will give you the formulas on the quiz, so you don't need to worry about that, but you do need to identify what is what. Let's see, looking down the quiz here, you'll notice that on the back of the page there, that the Venn diagram has changed now, and you'll notice that I've given the names of the two scientists in the upper right hand corner. What's going to change is that now you need to identify what they do differently and what they do together. Please note in box 11 and 13, I am looking for the larger of the answers, whether it's developed a current that pulses between positive and negative, or developed a current that travels from source to source and back to working source and so forth. That's going to go into the larger boxes here. Okay. Now, at the very bottom are 4 bullets having to do with wind turbines, Bernoulli's principle of lift, and the country's use of fossil fuels to produce electricity. I'm going to show you a graph on the electricity one right there, and you're just going to have to identify, say the question might say something like, the top portion of all fuels used to produce electricity in this country are, and then you have to select either renewable or non-renewable, something of that nature. When it comes to wind turbines and types, I'm talking about horizontal versus vertical. What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? You might want to go and have that paper with you to study with. Wind turbine variables. I'm going to ask you about some of the variables, and you're just going to have to identify what variables do what and whether or not the statements make any sense. And Bernoulli's principle, I will give you a picture of a wing, and I'm going to have to identify high and low above based upon where the lift is traveling. So just kind of keep that in mind. That's from class yesterday. Now, once you have your study guide, your first thing today is to actually spend 20 minutes collecting data on your blade pitch, number of blades, surface area blades, and mass of blades. All the blades are in the center table. They're in buckets. I ask that you keep things as orderly as possible. Your goal, you have 20 minutes to collect as much data as possible. I'm also going to mention, folks, that you're quite silly to avoid this, but you really should have filled in what your hypothesis is, what your manipulated variable and responding variable and controlled variables, what they are. You should have these lines all filled in before you even start collecting data. Please do that. I'm going to also remind you that when it comes to responding variable, the responding variable is always the electric output. So cool for that. Now, you want to take care of blade pitch, number of blades. Notice only 3 trials there. Surface area, those are the petals, the sword, and the square-shaped blades. You want to test all 3. And please tell me that you are reading the procedure, because you'll discover that the procedure on each one of these refers back to the procedure on the previous variable test. So you need to be reading the instructions. Please, I'm not going to help you anymore on that. If you get this done in 20 minutes, glorious, grab yourself a laptop. Otherwise, Mr. Kulitz is going to go and stop the class 20 minutes in. He's going to ask everyone, grab a laptop. If you have to share, that's fine, I understand. But you're going to have to open up Microsoft Excel, and you're going to need to open up a file that we all created a while back in Student Share, Mr. Millette, Electricity, Wind Turbines, and then you have to find your coordinating period, so period F or period A. So again, Student Share, Mr. Millette, Electricity, Wind Turbines, and then pick your period. You should have already created one of these, and what I'm referring to is this Excel document, if you will. In this document, your name, date, period, wind turbine variables, at which point we show the first variable right here, blade pitch. we have our trials listed, we have our degrees listed, and we have our electrical output listed. We then produced a graph. Your goal today, if you don't get to producing the graph, your goal at least is to produce the data for each one of these. So here's first variable, second variable, number of blades, third variable, surface area, fourth variable, mass of blades. You should have all of your data, at least the data you've collected, into this Excel document, and you should be trying to brainstorm how to produce a graph similar to the one you see right here, which this case was only on blade pitch. The ultimate goal here, folks, is to have 4 graphs, and then we're going to superimpose all 4 graphs on top of each other so that you can see the most logical location for all the variable types of blade pitch, surface area, mass, and number of blades. So please make sure you save it back to Student Share. Make sure you put them back in the corresponding trays on the cart and plug them in for charging purposes. And that should be the class. Honestly, the class will fly by with that simple request. So folks, study guide, take it home, study. Final test is on Friday. Quiz repairs, if any of you have those, start turning them in, please. And then you're going to work on collecting data and then submitting data into your Microsoft Excel. All right? I'm going to leave this up on the screen, so this will be the last thing. Mr. Coolitz can pause it, at which point you can see roughly what the grade should be, or the graph should be, I apologize. And then if need be, I can zoom out a little bit here for you so you can see all 4 variables shown on the screen. All right, folks, thank you very much. Have a great day. I'll see you Wednesday.